Hey, hello, folks. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be around the planet watching our latest installment of BookBaby Live. I am President Emeritus Stephen Spots, and I'm back this month after taking a month off. Our designers did a fantastic job last month, but I'm back in the saddle and ready to share with you a user-generated content-laden show, and I'll explain why. But I think this is going to be full of some really good practical information for you. I'm going to give you a lot of references and links for you to follow to even get more information on its own. So this should be a fast-moving half hour. And with that, Carter, let's go to the slides. All right. Well, as you can see, it's self-publishing Q&A, and it's going to be your questions, which I received on email. I'll tell you a little bit about that. Our answers for indie authors. And I think there's a lot of very useful stuff. Some patterns emerged that I want to talk about, and hopefully we will cover a lot today. So here I am. This is chat number 18 on Facebook, LinkedIn, and our YouTube channel. I'm just back for about 3.5 weeks in France after looking for a new home. I want to do a Chamber of Commerce spot call out for Montpellier in southwest France. It's a very underrated city. Fantastic place. Spent some glorious afternoons there and days there. Meeting new folks. So if you're ever thinking about relocating to France, Montpellier is a wonderful place. And if you ever are thinking about relocating to France, well, good thing. I'm a self-published author, and I bet you I'm going to be writing a book about it. And that's what I bring to this chat, I think, the most, is my experience as a self-published author. So I've been there. I've been in your shoes. I know what you're going through, and hopefully these are the questions that I would have been asking had I not been living inside the publishing world during this, all right? So it's about 30 minutes, like our usual format of self-publishing information. I spend about 15 minutes, 20 minutes sometimes on my topic, and usually though about marketing, self-publishing, today about questions. And then I've got, yes, time for more questions. That's right. It's going to be a question on top of question sandwich type of issue today for you. So if you do have questions, make sure you put them in the comments. Make sure, tell us where you're from, put your question in there. And I'll try to get to as many of those after we're done with the regular presentation. All right. One more thing with the housekeeping. After every event, one attendee is selected at random to receive a publishing consultation with me. They don't usually end up being 15 minutes. They're much longer and detailed. It's a lot of fun for me. I learn so much about your projects and your book, and I try to give you some good advice. So how do you do that? You share the video, you tag a friend in the comment section, and you're automatically entered to win the consultation. If I can think of it before the end of the show, I'll announce who it is. Otherwise, I'll email you. All right. So again, share those questions in the comment section. One more little tidbit here before we go on. Our Authors of BookBaby Facebook group is really growing. It's a lively discussion point. We're going to have a big announcement in about a week and a half in that section. So I strongly encourage you to join up that group and keep a watch on the next week or so, because we've got something huge to announce that's going to make a huge difference in self-published authors' lives. So I'm very excited about it. Can't wait to tell you about it. So, all right, with that, I think we are on our way. So this is all Q&A generated. So the Saturday before I got home, in my weekender email, I said, hey, you know what? Send me your most interesting questions, your vexing stuff you hadn't, you hadn't had any way to answer it. And oh my God, you did. I've got to tell you, this is not my email box, but it's a good representation of it. Received over 350 answers, and that's when I stopped counting. So I thank you so much for your input, those of you who sent that on. I'm going to try to answer every one of them if I don't get to it on these kind of broadcasts or in a weekender email. So some of them I'm kind of grouping together, as you'll see during this, so I get to as many, but I thank you very much. I got to say, though, I had my iPhone set on settings with a little ping every time a mail would come in. It sounded like I was at Vegas at a jackpot, at a one-armed bandit. It was a ding, 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 ding. I shut that option off. So again, I thank you so much for your input, and you're really fueling this show and a couple of weekender emails. So with that, let's get going. All right. So I'm going to start off with what Susan Woods asked, and about 15 others, okay, in various forms, but her letter sort of summed things up. I wrote a manuscript 5 years ago. However, I'm afraid to send it to a publishing company because it doesn't have copyright protection. How can I be sure the publishing company won't publish it under its name? All right, well, here we go. We're going to go back to what I talked about a few months ago. All right, copyright is important, no question about it. But on the list of things important to your book, it's kind of down there pretty far. All right, don't let it get in the way of getting your book out, okay? I espouse the approach of belt, suspenders, and duct tape as far as holding up the pants of your copyright, okay? First one's really simple. Guess what? Just by typing your book, you have layman's copyright. You can show that you've been typing it, not on a typewriter, hopefully. It's something that's admissible in court, a Word document. I'll have to change that graphic. But just by writing it, the fact that you have possession of your notes, of your original, you own any copyright. That will stand up in court, okay? Hundreds of copyright cases have been cited just by the simple fact of saying, look, I have the evidence that I wrote it. Here's a time date of when I started saving the material. It's mine, all right? That's the belt. You need a suspenders? Here it is. A lot of our authors do, and we suggest it just for peace of mind, is a copyright page. So what's on there? This is a typical one. You don't need to do this exact format, but it's got a comment about all rights reserved. It's got permissions. It's got your ISBN numbers, your different ones, because you do need, well, we'll get to an ISBN question in a minute. Library of Congress number if you decide to go that way, when the edition was, any people contributed to the book, and then again, just some basic format, the name of your publisher and the website, okay? But frankly, there's only one piece of information on this page that's any halfway important. It's right there. Copyright 2022, Stephen Spots. That is all you need to have on this copyright page. If you want to be a minimalist, I applaud you for that. Save the ink on the electronic paper. That's all you really need to do. That stands up in every single courtroom around the world. Just by having that on your book when you're going to publish, you own it. All right. But one more thing. Look, if you need the duct tape to hold up your pants, we also have something else. And by the way, it's not just for duct tape. All right. This is true peace of mind. This is insurance. It's very inexpensive. I don't know exactly how much we're charging for it, but you can go through BookBaby or you can go direct to cosign to get this. All right. It does work with the Copyright Office. It files it. Again, another layer of protection. If you have maybe some important, world-changing patent that you really want an ironclad protection, you may want to do cosign. But for 99% of you, it's not necessary. It is helpful, though, if you have an arrangement you have several contributors who are perhaps, getting equal share of the proceeds. This kind of helps you with your collaborators. So it is a good service. It's really simple. We've been pitched for years on these kinds of things. This is the one that made sense to us. All right. But again, the final rule is this. Now, no offense, but your unproven self-writer, are people really looking to steal your book? Now, if you've patented the way to, have cars fly, awesome. I get it. But you know what? They're probably not going to go after your book. You should have that, put it on your to-do list, number 13, after you've got your book finished. But get your book finished. Get it done. Get it to that publishing company. All right. All right. So let's go on. Jim Thorne says, I'm working on a manuscript for a space adventure novel. That'll be cool. I'd like to use BookBaby for self-publishing. Is there a publishing package where I can produce and provide my own cover art? We get a lot of questions about this. So like the packages, but I'm already paying another artist to paint my book cover. Got it. Okay. Same thing Bill Utley asked. Do I have a choice of book covers? If I do, what choice do you have? Well, my basic question or response to that is, my God, this is your project. You get to choose whatever cover you want to have on the book. You'll see a little bit later on, we do offer cover design in some of the packages that we offer, but that doesn't mean you can't work with BookBaby without getting a brand new cover. No, come to us, and I applaud you for going out and getting your own cover designer. That's great to work collaboratively back and forth. Now, it's very easy to do. I would say, most of our authors actually come to us with book designs either they've done, don't recommend that necessarily, or they've had outside designers, or it's been published somewhere else and they already have a cover. So that's great. So, but look, we do have great designers. They do fantastic work. They do it quickly. If you're not happy with the cover, we're going to turn around and do another proof. So you're never stuck with a cover you don't like. All right. And our packages are configured so that you can do the Chinese menu, or you can get the full deal meal, as we'll talk about a little later on. So no, the cover can be your choice at all. Work with us if you want us to do it, or if you already have a cover, good for you. Fantastic. All right, let's move on. So here we go. ISBN questions, because I got a ton of these as well. Edwin says, my biggest drawback is the financial aspect of printing. In all the sites I visited, I've been told that I have to have an ISBN purchased, and if I recall correctly, the price of one ISBN is $400. I realized that if I want to sell my book online or at a store, the ISBN identifies that particular book, correct? Is there any other reason I need the added expense of an ISBN? All right. So Once again, we're going to review, and this was back done in May, and I think I have a reminder here. Let's talk about the ISBN. Again, it's one of those details that don't really worry about. Don't sweat it until you have your book almost done, and then you'll be amazed how simple it really is. Okay, what's it stand for? It's the International Standard Book Number. It's the identifier that's used by everybody in the publishing industry, even those big guys. All right. Now, are you required to have an ISBN to sell your book? So it's yes and maybe. Yes, if you plan on selling your book in bookstores, to libraries, or through most online retailers, you will need an ISBN, with the single and notable exception of Amazon.com. If you choose to go to Amazon only, no, you do not need. They use something called an ASIN, the Amazon Standard Identification Number. So if your plan is to only be distributed through Amazon, no, you do not need to get that. I think it's short-sighted, quite frankly. I know you didn't ask that, but I'm going to answer it anyway. If you only go to Amazon, you're missing out on Apple, you're missing out on Barnes & Noble, you're missing out all the hundreds of other outlets around the world, not to mention, in bookstores. And again, this is for ebooks only, all right? If you're just doing a Kindle ebook, that's all you need. You can just use the ASIN. If you're doing print, you have to get an ISBN. That's a mandatory thing, all right? But again, you can also, if you have an ISBN, you can use that as a search term on the Amazon site. For some people, that really is important because they reference out. People cut and paste it and put it in the search bar at Amazon, all right? Once again, if you have some of these questions that I'm not covering today or in some, go through our live broadcast and you'll see all the topics that we've covered. We covered this one back in May, but I know it's going to come up with a question every single time I probably do these things. Incidentally, ISBNs, we sell them for $50, $49 through BookBaby. So Edwin, I hope you consider using us. All right, here's the next one. Excuse me. Talking quickly. So lots of folks, including Pat Eustace, said, I've self-published 2 bilingual kids books, but really need to sell them. What are your suggested methods to get the word out to the reading public? Okay, well, 'tis the season. I am so glad you asked. We have a number of guides residing in BookBaby.com, and this is the one that's going like wildfire right now. The time is right. Mariah Carey told us yesterday that it's the Christmas season is here, and I tend to believe her. So here's a great guide for you to get 12 ideas to get holiday book sales. This is what authors have been using the last couple of years. We've done a few updates in it each year, but it's a good way to plan a timeline from now to the end of the year. You can really focus in on local opportunities because there's more of them than you realize. If you really think about this guide, points out some of the things, and it's a good way to get the word out to bookshops, libraries, and your readers. And I suggest you download it. How do you do that? Go to bookbaby.com, click on our free guides. Yes, it is free. All of our guides are always free. And it's a whole page full of really good guides, I've got to say, about self-publishing. But I focus on this one right now. And it's full of topics. And so after we're done with the show, go right over there and grab that guide and start planning it out. So hopefully that'll help. Okay, Wilma. So this is something that we actually haven't covered here. Wilma, BookBaby has 3 options to choose from. How do you know what's the best route to take? Does it include editing or is that something different? Very nice. She's impressed with BookBaby. I'm happy about that. Okay. Also, Lillian says, look, how do you hold someone's hand through the whole process, editing, design, layout, marketing, and publishing? Well, what's the price for that package if there is one? Yes, Lillian, there is a way to do it. And so this is, and it's probably kind of small on your screen, so I'll walk through it a little bit. These are really what we call the starting points, okay? Most people do not buy these packages. They pick and choose from them, but it's a good comparison of kind of what we have to offer with some prices. So all our packages include this: 25 softcover books, ebook conversion, print-on-demand distribution, and you get two ISBN barcodes because, as you all know now, you need a separate barcode for an ebook and a printed book. I know you're experts on that, all right? So it really kind of makes a difference of what you want out of your publishing experience. The Express, if you've got print-ready files, if you've been published somewhere else before, but you want BookBaby to take over your distribution, that's a good way to do it, all right? The Complete also includes the design that we were talking about, all right? Professional cover design and then interior formatting for both your ebook and your printed book. That's the middle package. And then the Deluxe has some marketing things that authors really ask for, okay? Facebook and Instagram ads, LinkedIn, display ads, We've got a bookshop promotional bundle. You get on our bookshop mailing list. You're featured on the site. And then you have something, metadata optimization, where we take a look at all of your metadata, see how it looks. It's a very inexpensive service. Almost all of these items are available a la carte. I think the bookshop bundle is the only one that really isn't. So again, these are starting points, but you can start and mix and match. What I do is I encourage you to phone the number that's displayed on some of these slides to really get an in-depth discussion. But these are starting points. People rarely just take what's on here. They take this off and they add this in. But it's a good discussion to kind of find out where you are in the publishing process and what you want to do. Okay. All right. Anne Marie Sass, thank you for the opportunity to ask self-publishing questions. That's what I'm here for. Is there a platform for an individual short story to be published, or does it have to be a collection of short stories? And if so, what number of short stories would generally be considered appropriate for a reasonable collection? So I'm going to go on to another answer, but something did pop into my head as I was literally reading it. Kindle does have a service called Vellum, which is a short story type of environment. BookBaby does not handle that distribution. You would have to go directly to Kindle. And it is a place where people are putting up a lot of short stories in either serialized form, or they just happen to be less than book length. It might be a place for you to go. But I've got another idea. But let me read one more answer, or one more question that kind of talks about the same thing. Why do creators, authors, and illustrators make so little money and the publishers make most of the money? That's been a lament since the first thing that came off Gutenberg's press, I think. There are a lot of big people, there are a lot of middlemen involved in the process, which is the main reason why we came up with this. All right. So the BookBaby Bookshop is available free. It's a free page, or pages, depending on the number of books you have, on our site. That if you do your publishing through us, you also get your own page on Bookshop. We encourage direct to reader transaction. You've heard me say this over and over here in this chair, in this location. It's really important. And so when you talk about where the money goes, well, in a typical Amazon transaction, the author is getting anywhere between 15 to 20%, royalty back on their printed books. They do get more on their ebooks. They get about 70% of the net sales price. Bookshop is where you can make the most money, and you can put the different kind of formats of books. If you want to put short stories up here, awesome, great, let's do it. And it's a place for you to do that. You can link it from your own site. You can have it on your Twitter feed, the whole thing. But the best part is, again, you get paid a lot more. All right, you get 50% of the selling price of a book. You sell a book for $20, we send you 10. All right, it's not $1.20 or $1.80 that you get from other sources. If you sell an ebook through Bookshop, you'll get 85%. All right, we keep 15% for credit card transactions, and just because we're nice guys. So that's the place for you to make the most money. Again, I've given 1,000 reasons why people should use Bookshop, and one of them really is you make more money, and you can put different formats of things of your writings on there that might not fit perhaps in the typical Amazon type slot. So please do consider that as you think about where you want to publish your next book. All right. So Tian Chenault, is it possible to shop a book to an agent after it's been self-published on Amazon? If so, how? Oh, the answer is absolutely yes. In fact, I would say if you would have asked me this 7-8 years ago, I would have said, yes, absolutely, it's possible. And now my answer is yes, absolutely, and it may be necessary for you to find an agent to actually have self-published things early, all right? We have thousands of authors, not just BookBaby, but all around the world. They have found agents and traditional publishers after self-publishing their books. And usually it's the other way around. The agents and the publishers go and look and scout out the kinds of books they're seeing pop up on sites. I've got to think that a number of visits every single day coming to Bookshop and seeing our front page and our new releases, our agents and our publishers are looking to say, what new emerging self-published author are coming on the scene. Not only do they want to see your work, right? They want to actually read your book and see how you described it, what's in your metadata. They also want to see what your marketing activities are. How energetic are you? Are you really doing a lot to market your own book? Because unless you're James Patterson's daughter or son or best friend, you're still going to have to rely on yourself to do a lot of the marketing, even if you go with a traditional publisher now. All right, that's the way things are here. So they're going to want to choose people who not only have a great book, good cover, great content, but are they marketing it? Are they writing multiple books? So not only, as I say, self-publishing is not a barrier to getting an agent. It's a gateway, and it's probably the preferred gateway, because agents can actually see, again, the word, they're not really taking as much of a gamble on people as those who have actually gone out there, had the chutzpah to go ahead and have it published. So I would heartily recommend that if your goal is traditional publishing, start by self-publishing through us or by any other company. Get your name out there, get established, get a reputation. Okay. Quickly on a drink. Bill Durfee had a nice note to me. I've been trying to get published since the method was sending pages from my typewriter through the post and waiting half a year on the inevitable introduction letter. Oh, come on, Bill. I have 3 written novels in Word sitting on the hard drive of my computer. Once upon a time, I was tech savvy, but they seem to have replaced my horse and buggy. How do I get my Word doc into a suitable EPUB format and onto Amazon or another platform? All right. Got a number of questions like this, like Denise. How do I format a manuscript to put on a number of platforms? I'm not a technophobe, but I really would love someone to show me how to format my work. Frankly, you know what? 12 years ago, I think the number is, this is exactly why we launched BookBaby, folks. I was talking to some folks this morning, and they say, well, how, is it easy to get your book on Amazon directly? And I say, not for me. It wouldn't. I would have a real challenge, and that's why BookBaby is here. Can you go direct to KDP? Absolutely, and a lot of people do every single day. But they've also read how to do it. They want to be hands-on with it. They want to monitor their account. There's no bad way to get self-published, folks. There really isn't, with only a few exceptions if you find a black hat type of provider. But there are most everyone in this industry are really thinking about the self-published author. So you really can't lose. But look, we have people. It's not a job that's farmed out to somebody else to do this, to do that. No, we do it all of ourselves. All right. And we've dedicated ourselves to have qualified folks who are well-trained, who can really help you. So yes, we can help you. You just need to get the Word document off your computer into formatting. We talk about this stuff all day long. So please don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call our folks. In fact, you're going to see in an email coming up, you can make appointments, phone appointments for somebody to give you a call back if you have a tight schedule, so that we can kind of cater to your schedule. All right. So Violet Bullock, a couple more here that we're going to go through that I'm going to try to get to. My God, the mounting number of them. Recently submitted my book. What's the ideal timeline will be available for purchase? All right, editing schedule, cover design. Heard a lot of these. Okay, Haley said, how long does it take to get it to be published to Amazon, to the marketplace? Can authors set the day that it comes out? I'll start right there. Yes, Haley, authors can set the day that it comes out, but as long as you're knowing that if you handed us a book today, November 2nd, book is probably not going to be out until February. It's going to take that long. And in another of these broadcasts, I talk about how first quarter is actually the best time to get your book out there, not the holidays. But here's the point. It takes weeks and months. Now, you compare that against trying to find an agent and a publisher, which will take years. It's still a lot faster. Can you go direct to Amazon faster? Well, yes, you could. But again, is your manuscript formatted correctly? Do you have a cover you like? There are lots of things that we take care of you. It's not months and years, but realize that going through your editing process to do it really well, it takes weeks, okay? You need to look at what was edited. You need to say, no, I like the word when it's spelled with an extra E. Okay, that's fine. But it takes time to really do that. There are people on both ends of the spectrum. Some people just say, no, it's fine, great, let's go. And then there are people on the other end of the spectrum that said, the editing job was done 12 weeks ago. Maybe I should go look at the file again, all right? Production takes anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks, depending upon what you're doing. You're just getting an ebook versus getting print on demand as well. But again, the biggest variable, I can't tell you how long it's really going to take, because the biggest amount of time is authors or they are actively reviewing and inspecting their proofs. Not everything is done the first time perfectly. You should go through your proofs. Make sure you're comfortable with it. A lot of people order our pre-press proof to actually see it on paper. And some of these errors that they didn't see when it's on a computer screen, you pop right out at you once it's on a page. So, I would say 50% of the time in the entire process really is spent, at least up front, is spent making sure that your proof is exactly right. Because, you can make changes, but they're costly, and then you'll lose even more time. So that's why. However, guess what? We have another guide which can discuss this in more detail. I just finished up the revisions of this. It's the 3rd edition of it, and we've added a lot of new content, including a 6-month planner in the back of the book to help you get your book to market. Okay, answers a lot of these questions. That kind of lays it out on a calendar, saying, here's how long this should take. Here's how long that should take. What about waiting on Amazon? How long does it take to get that pre-sale period? The whole thing pretty well explained just on that calendar itself. But the other 80 pages of the guide, it's really pretty good information, if I may say so myself. So how do you get it? You go to bookbaby.com, you click on the free guides, and there it is, and you'll have an email PDF waiting for you as soon as possible. All right. So fine, let's end it with a couple of notes from John Jack Silver, saying about every experience you have with BookBaby. All right. Every question is answered promptly by a friendly, knowledgeable, and understanding staff team member with patience and clarity, which is what I tried to talk about a little earlier. Maybe I should have just used this, but this is what we do all day long. We really hold the hand of folks who have questions that some of you have sent me, some of you are still brewing. And by the way, if you have more questions, feel free to email me, as the slide we'll talk about there. We're coming to the end of the season for our BookBaby Spotlight podcast. This was last month, but I wanted to make sure this link goes in because our last BookBaby Live will be in December, and I'll talk about what we're announcing for there. But this was about trade shows and speaking opportunities. So it's a really important niche for folks trying to get their business books out, their books that support their careers. We've got Kelly Peterson from IPG and Jackie Lepin from SpeakerUnity.com. I had a chance to meet her in Florida a couple of years ago, and she really does a great job in getting the word out for folks with radio interviews for the most part. All right. And with that, we will go through some questions and see how many more I can answer. So I'm going to scroll to the top, and I'll start with Bruce Betson asks, almost done with my manuscript. Every time I read through it, I make changes. How can I stop? Otherwise, my book will be out in another 10 years. That's just it. You know what? If you're finding typos, that's one thing. You probably need to have it edited, okay? But at some point, you just need to realize the book just needs to be, it doesn't need to be perfect, but great is good enough. This is, again, a common thing we hear saying, I'm almost done with it. Hand it to a friend, have them read through it, but get it edited, all right? And maybe make any changes they need to make at the editing stage. You just got to bite the bullet at some time and say, done, get it finished. Because as you say, it will take 10 years if you don't, if you're adding things to it. Now, write another book after this. If you have so much energy to add to the first book, now spend your time writing book number 2, book number 3. That's what I would recommend. I called Malcolm regarding this 979 ISBN issue. I didn't have time to go through that. They say Amazon resolved this. What's the latest status you've received? Look for that answer in an upcoming weekender, because I'm interested in this as well. This did pop up. ISBNs with the number 979, there's been a hold up on them. There's been a problem. And really, it's kind of Amazon's fault here. I don't want to throw them quite under the bus, but it's Amazon's fault. And they are working on it. Watch your weekender emails, and I'll give you an update. Or as I say, give the BookBaby folks a call to see if they have any more information. It might be also in your if you log into your account, they usually have some information there waiting for you. And if there's been an update, there probably would be some information there. But I'll keep you posted on that. If I publish through BookBaby, can I use my own imprint, or will it say publish with BookBaby? No, you can absolutely use your own imprint. You can bring your own ISBNs. If the ISBN, if we supply the ISBN, BookBaby is mentioned in it. I don't think it's mentioned as a publisher, but just BookBaby is mentioned on there. But absolutely, if you have your own imprint, if you have your own ISBN, come on down. We can help you. Okay, working on the first book. How do I find an editor that helps with all aspects of my story? Okay, so it sounds like you need a developmental editor. This is not the kind of editing service we have. Our editors are really most suited for once the story's done. All right, you've got it. If you need a character appraisal, if you need you've written a few chapters and you think, is this going anywhere? find what's called a developmental editor, and they're the Editors Freelancer Association, EFA, is a great source for that. But look for that kind of editor rather than a copy editor or a line editor. Okay. Do you send a physical or electronic book of your book for copyright? Once again, it's not sending it. It's actually the page in the book is the suspenders, and the fact that you've written it is the copyright. Just put it on both the ebook and the printed pages. Okay. If you go through us, they'll have one file and it'll just carry over to both if you're getting both those services through us. Okay. If you have something exciting to announce, should I submit my book to Ms. Kerr anyway the next day, or should I wait? No, this is nothing worth waiting about. It's an add-on. It's something you might want to do in combination with your book. No, we're not announcing that books are going to be all 3D. No, it's nothing like that. Go ahead. Don't want to hold you up. No, submit your book. But we have a brand new product that's going to go alongside of printed books and ebooks. And maybe some of you can probably tell what I'm talking about. All right. Bisect codes are still relevant and used. Absolutely. They most certainly are. Bisect codes are those they go way beyond genre. They'll take a genre of romance and they have, God knows 100 sub codes of romance. And those bisect codes are incredibly important for people who are looking for that particular kind of a book. Very important. In our process, when you submit your book up for distribution, we ask you what genre it is, and it'll give you the list of the bisect code. It's very interesting. Okay, one more time. I'm gonna ask this one. Does BookBaby have any special packages geared towards children's illustrative books? Packages, I'm going to say no, because really no and yes, really, because every combination of things we do can be combined into a package. We do a ton of children's books, though. We know the formats, we know what's working, we know what's not working. So I'd strongly advise you to get on the phone, 877-961-6878. Call us up, because we do a lot of children's books, especially at this time of year, as you can imagine. All right. So I think that is going to be about all time. There's a bunch more. But I did remember the winner of our consultation will be Crystal No. And Crystal, I'll be reaching out to you in the next few days, and we will set up a time to go through things. All right. So with that, I want to thank you very much for your attention. If you have any other questions, God knows they're still coming into my email box. There's the email, Stephen@bookbaby.com. I'll try to get to them. Let's say folks who have submitted questions in the past, if you didn't see it here, I'm sorry. There may be another live broadcast in February with more of them, but I'm also going to put them in some upcoming weekend or extended mailbag versions. Also, I'm going to try to reach out personally to as many of you can. I'm having some folks research. Some of them are a little vexing to me, and I did not know the answer, so I don't want to quote you anything that really isn't appropriate to be shared. I just want to make sure that we have the right information for you, because nothing worse than giving you bad advice. I think the only thing worse than no advice is bad advice, and I'm certainly going to avoid that. And with that, I want to thank you very much, and we'll see you in a few weeks for our next BookBaby Live broadcast. Take care.